All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you here, and we'll go through a couple of the examples. You can say something. You need something. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, you'll be on camera. Okay, I'll turn. Well, no, I'm sharing the screen, so you'd only be up in this little corner. So, okay. Do you need to go? All right. Sorry, Natalie. I'm talking to my girlfriend. She doesn't want to be on camera, so she's avoiding the kitchen right now.
Okay.
What if I turn my camera there? I'll turn it. I'll just turn it this way, and that way we can see you. Okay. All right. All right, Natalie. Let's just start with number one. Are you working along with me on the packet, or you have it on paper, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm working on. I'm working on the what do you call it? Cryptic quiz.
The cryptic quiz. Oh, so did you do the practice problems?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
No, wait, not yet. I haven't practiced on that one yet.
You haven't? Okay. Well, let's do a couple of these together, and then we'll do a couple from the cryptic quiz, and hopefully, maybe 3 or 4 examples is really all you need to figure out how to do this. Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right. So let's start with number one here, because this is a nice simple one to get us started. Okay. So Natalie, can you tell me what it means to solve an equation for y? Like, what are we really?
No, wait. Oh crap. I don't know.
So what it means is we want to get y by itself. It's really, that's what we've been doing when we solve equations. Normally, when we solve an equation, we only have one kind of variable in it, right? We just have an x, or maybe a couple x terms, but we can combine them, right? But now we've got an equation with 2 different variables in it. So we still want to do what we always do and get the y variable by itself. But now we're going to have to, we're not using any new rules. That's the good part of this is what we're going to be doing. You've already done it before. Like, this is how we always solve equations. But now we have 3 different types of terms that we have to worry about. We have the constant term, which in this case would be the -3. So place the pointer right here. All right, so the -3. We have a y term and we have an x term. So we have 3 different types of terms. None of these can be combined, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so if we want to get this y by itself, then what we're going to do, we have to get rid of that x. We want to get rid of it, and nothing, like I said, nothing changes here. We're still just going to do the opposite of whatever we have here. All right, so remember, if there's no number in front of the variables, then it's really like it's a 1, a positive 1, right? Okay, so what we really have here is -3 equals 1y plus 1x, okay? And our goal is to eliminate that x term from the right side, because if we do, then y will be by itself, and we will have solved the equation for y. All right, so that's our goal. Our goal on this section is always to get the y variable by itself. All right, so we do the opposite, just like we always do. If we're going to solve an equation to get rid of something on one side, we do the opposite. So since this is a positive 1x, we're going to turn it into a 0 by subtracting 1x from both sides. Okay, let's draw our line down here so we don't get confused. Okay, and then so when we add these together, 1x plus -1x, that gives me a 0x. So that whole term just drops out. That whole thing is gone now.
Okay.
All right, so we bring down our 1y, we bring down our equal sign, and on the left side, now we have -3 minus 1x. Can we combine those terms?
Um.
Can I subtract -3 minus 1 and get -4?
No.
Right, we cannot. Very good. So all we can do really is just write the terms next to each other. So -3 is still there, and then we just tack on that -1x. Okay, so this is a correct answer because y is by itself, but we could also write it this way. So we could have put the -1x first and put the -3 second. All right, but so it really doesn't matter. Both of these are okay to do. You just have to get that y by itself, like completely by itself.
Right.
Okay, so our answers are not necessarily going to be just one number. There's going to be an x term and a constant term on the other side of y. But we're just going to have to, we're going to have to deal with it because we don't know what number to put in for x. We don't know what number to put in for y. So all we can do is get that y by itself. The other terms are going to be on the other side of the equation. Okay? All right. So let's try one that's a little bit more complicated here. Let's do number 4. Okay. So here's our y. Let's highlight it. Okay, that's our y. That's what we're trying to get by itself. So you tell me what is going on that side with the y. What is being done to y right
now? Doesn't like y means multiplication?
The 3y. 3y means 3 times y.
Right? Yeah, and then you have to do the opposite, and so. Oh crap. You have to do 3 divided by 3.
Okay, yes, we do want to divide by 3, but I'm going to wait on that step because I want to get rid of this 2x first. That should be our first goal. We always start furthest away from y. Let's get rid of this positive 2x here. So how do I turn a 2x into a 0?
Oh yeah, you have to divide by 2.
Close, but not quite. We want to move, we don't just want to get rid of the 2 in front of the x, we want to move that whole term over. All right, so if 2x is being added to the 3y, and that's a positive 2x, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. Okay, so the opposite of a positive 2x is a negative 2x. When we do that math here, we're going to get 0x, and remember, 0 times any number is 0. So 0 times x is just 0. That whole thing drops out. Okay, so what do we really have? So we bring down the 3y, bring down the equal sign, right? Here's our line. And then we have 0 minus 2x. So since I don't have to, that 0 is really just a placeholder. We don't need to put 0 minus 2x. We can just put that negative 2x over on the Okay, we could write negative 2x plus 0, but adding 0, subtracting 0 doesn't change it. So we don't have to write that. Okay, so now we're ready. Now that we got that x term on the other side, now we're ready to divide. So what should we divide both sides by to get y by itself?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You said it before. What's multiplying y?
Oh, 3.
3. So to get rid of multiplication by 3, we do the opposite. We divide both sides by 3. All right. So that gives me a y on the left side. And since 2 divided by 3 can't be simplified, if you do it on your calculator and you hit math, enter, you'll get negative 2/3 back. So we would just want to leave that in fraction form, and we can bring that x out front. So we get negative 2/3 x on the other side. Okay, so do we have y by itself yet?
Wait,
what else is? Yeah, we do. See, it's right over here. Okay, it's all on the left side by itself. So that tells us that we are done. We did everything we need to do to get y by itself. So our first step is get rid of the x term. Okay, whatever the sign, whatever the number in front of x is, we use the opposite number to make a 0. Because remember, anytime you add a number and its opposite, you get 0. So that'll kind of move it to the other side. So when we subtract both sides by negative 2x, we move that x term to the other side. And then once we've done that, we divide both sides by whatever number is multiplying y here. And we get our answer. All right? Okay. So yeah, if you can understand 4 and you can handle that, then you can probably do the rest of the problems on this worksheet. So let's go to page 3. Let's go to the cryptic quiz.
Yeah, that one's more. I feel like that one's more different.
It is, but you just got to take your time, make sure you're doing them right. And the great thing about this worksheet is you can check your answers and make sure that you're doing them right. If If you do a problem and your answer is not down here in this column for the first, the first 5 problems, then that means you probably made a mistake somewhere and you need to go back and fix it. So, so that's the reason I like this worksheet so much. Okay.
Mhm.
So why don't you pick a problem and we'll do it together.
Okay. We do number 8.
Number 8, sure. That's the same one that I did in the last problem, so it's right down here, or with the last class. All right, so, and this is what I do. I basically just copied the problem, brought it down here, and did my work down here, so we have a lot more room to work. Okay, so we can just look and see how I did it, and then maybe we can do another one together. All right, so this one is similar to the problem number 4 that we just did on the practice problems, but you can see my first step. Let me get my laser pointer out. All right. My first step is to get rid of that negative 2x, because remember, my goal is to get this y by itself. So if there's a negative 2x on the same side as y, then we got to get rid of that. We got to move it to the other side. So we're going to do the opposite here. Negative 2x plus 2x would give me 0. And then when I add 2x on the other side, we just remember, we cannot combine these. Okay, we can't do negative 2 or negative 12 plus 2 because this is a constant term and this is an x term. So we just write them next to each other. Negative 12 plus 2x equals 3y. All right, and then since the only thing we have to get rid of to get y by itself is this 3 that's multiplying it, then we divide everything by 3. All right, and you can see what happens here. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. And when we take that 2x and divide it by 3, we're going to get a fraction, but that's okay because that's really, we don't have to do anything with the fraction. It's just there in our answer. So this is the answer that we get. We get y equals negative 4 plus 2/3 x. However, if you look at the answers, the x term always comes first. All right, right here, 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 here. The x always comes first. So we have to, if we want our answer to match what's on the page there, then we have to flip these terms around. So you can see what I did here. I took the positive 2/3 x and I moved it to the front of the expression. And I took the negative 4 and I moved it to the back. So all I did was flip these two traded places, basically, these two terms. Okay. All right. So now we look for the answer y equals 2/3 x minus 4. And that's in the middle column here. Remember, your answers to 6 through 10 will be in the middle column. And we can find our answer right down here at the bottom. All right. So this is, so I would put maybe number 8 right here, just to remind yourself that, you've already gotten that answer and it was the answer to number 8. And then the directions say, solve each equation for y in terms of x. Okay, we did that. Find your answer below and notice the letter next to it. So right here, our letter is B.
Yeah.
Okay. And each time the exercise number, which is 8, appears in the code, write this letter above it. So we got to go up here, and this goes for both 1 and 2. If you find an 8 anywhere, you're going to put a B on that blank. So there's only one 8 in this whole thing. All right, you look through all these numbers, there's only one 8, so there's only one B, and it goes right there. All right. Okay, pick another one that you want to do, and we'll do it together.
Okay. Actually, you could do number 1.
Number 1, sure.
Yeah.
Keep it nice and simple. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to copy that, bring it down here. Okay, this is how I want you to do it too. So we can shrink it down a little bit. All right, so number 1, x plus y equals 5. Okay, so you tell me, Natalie, is y by itself on one side of the equation? It is?
I don't know. Wait,
well,
no,
look,
it's
here's our equal sign. We have here. This is what divides the two sides. What else is over there with that y?
X.
Right. Okay. So let's see if you picked up on how to do this. How do we get rid of that positive 1x?
Turn it into negative.
Well, yeah, we're gonna subtract x.
Divide.
No, we don't want to divide. Remember, we just want to turn that 1x into a 0x. So we do the opposite. We subtract. If it's a positive x term, then we subtract from both sides, the same number. If it's a negative x term, then we add to both sides like we did here. right? In number 8, we had a negative 2x, so we added 2x to both sides. Here we have a positive 1x, so we want to subtract 1x from both sides. All right? So that'll cancel out. Those x's will cancel out. We get a 0 there. Bring down our y. Okay? And we have a 5 and a negative x. How should I write that? If I write my answer with the x term first, what's it going to look like? Okay, so
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to bring this down. Y equals 5 minus x. If I want to put that x term in front of the 5, what's it going to look like?
Oh crap.
Remember, just move it to the front and take the sign in front with it. What do you think?
I don't want to be wrong.
It's okay, you can be wrong.
Okay. I don't know. 5x.
No, because we're not multiplying them. 5x would mean we're multiplying 5 and x together. This is 5 minus x. All right, so if I want to flip those terms around so the x term comes first, what would it look like?
Oh no.
Right. Well, then I'll give you some help.
I got lost. Yeah.
Okay, so here, this is the best way I can show you. I'm gonna erase this and I'm gonna rewrite it. This is a positive 5 minus x. Okay, so if I want to rearrange this, and this is kind of how I'll show you. All right, if I want to put this term in front, I got to take its sign with it, and I'll put that in front, and then I'll put this in back. And what is my real expression going to be? Right there. Negative x plus
5. Okay.
So 5 minus x and negative x plus 5, those are the same expressions. Remember, when we move terms around in an expression, we can do that. We just have to take the sign in front of that term with it. So if it was a negative x at the end of the expression, it has to be a negative x when we move it to the front of the expression. All right. So number 1, our answer should be negative x plus 5. So we look through our answers here in column 1, and there it is, negative x plus 5. So that means for all blanks that have a 1, okay, so let's put number 1 in here. For all blanks that have a 1, we're going to put a P on those blanks. So again, I only see one blank that has a 1 underneath it, so we're going to put a P there. Okay, so we did 8, 1, we can cross those out. Okay. You want to do one more?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to number 2, and we're gonna try something different this time. It's 3x, negative 3x plus y equals negative 2. All right, so I go back to Zoom, stop sharing my screen, and we're gonna go to the whiteboard. All right, so you can write on the whiteboard and you can help me out with this one.
Okay.
So it's let me use red here. Let's use black. All right, so it's negative 3x plus y equals negative 2. Is that the right problem?
Wait. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what do you do to get y by itself?
Oh crap.
What did we do on the last problem? Here's our y. If we want it to be by itself, we're going to get rid of this guy right here.
Oh yeah, might be wrong, but you go to the negative 3x and turn it into a positive.
Okay, yes, we're going to do the opposite, right? We're going to add 3x to both sides. So go ahead and do that. Show me how you would show your work.
Yeah.
Now remember, we don't want to divide. I'm looking at this. That looks like you're dividing these terms. We want to add 3x to both sides, not divide.
Oh wait, add?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, because the only way to get rid of that x term on the left side is to make the -3, is to turn the -3 into a 0. And the only way we can do that is by adding the opposite of a -3.
Okay.
Okay, so let's erase.
Whenever
I'm
I
going to
erase
erase
it,
that line that you wrote, and I want you to write in add. I want you to add 3x to both sides.
okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's see it.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. That's a 0. Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay. So what are you going to have over on the right side?
Uh, okay. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. Well, remember, let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, you got. Let's write this as an x so we can see it. Okay. So let's cross this out. That's gone now, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So what else? What do you need to bring down from the left side? What's still on the left side?
Um. The y.
Exactly. So let's bring that down to our next line. Okay. Now let's bring down our equal sign. Good. And then we have a -2 and a +3x over on the right side. So let's put our x term first because that's how our answers, that's the form that our answers are in. All right, so you're going to start with that 3x.
Mhm.
And since we can't combine those terms, we just got to write them in order. So start with the 3x, and then after that, you write the -2, and you're done.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it.
So okay. Wait, so I do -2 plus 3?
Well, you would write it, yeah, you can write it like, you can write it -2 plus 3x. But remember, what I was saying before is we want the x term to be first in that expression because that's what our answers are going to look like on the quiz worksheet. So
Okay.
so let's write the 3x term first on the right side and then write the -2.
Wait, how do you? Okay, I'm confused. I'm a little
Okay.
confused.
All right. So let me change colors so you can see it here. All right. So these are the two terms that we have on the right side, correct? We have, we have a +3x and we have a -2. All right. Well, if I want to put my x term first, then I just have to put it with the number in front and with the proper sign in front. If it's a positive, we don't have to put this plus sign here, but we can, but you're never going to see it there. So
Yeah.
let's just erase that. Oops. Okay, I'll put back your equal sign. There we go. Okay. And then, so we have this term we put it in right there. Now we got to put the -2 in here as well. So we're just going to tack on a -2 right after the 3x. Okay, make sense?
Kind of.
The 3x is there on the, whoops. The 3x
Mhm.
is here on the right side, and the -2 is here on the right side. That's exactly what we had here. We just can't combine them, so we have to keep them separate.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it. That's our answer.
Hey,
So this is the answer that we're looking for on the cryptic quiz worksheet. Y equals 3x minus 2. So let's go back. I'm going to share my screen again. We'll go back to the notability. All right, so now we know that the answer to number 2 is y equals 3x minus 2,
um, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's our answer to number 2. So we can cross that out. Now let's see, so everywhere there's a 2 on a blank, we want to put an O above it. So let's look and see, let's look for
Yeah.
2's. There's 1. And there's no 2's in the bottom. So we filled in one more blank. This is not bad.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, go ahead.
no. Never mind.
Okay. So I want you to try the rest of these on your own. All right.
Okay.
And see if you can get them figured out. And if not, just email me, let me know, and I'd be happy to give you some more help.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Natalie. Have a good day.
You too.